Okay. Let me not mess with the mic too much. We are live. Hello. Welcome in. All right. Chat is up. The chat is open. Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. Today is the first live masterclass for Reclaim Your Style. And I am having people join in from both YouTube and Facebook. So if you are coming in, type in the chat. Let me know where you're joining from. And we will get started. All right. So I definitely wanted to start at a later time today, just to accommodate for the holiday. But for anybody who cannot make it, there will be a replay available. And for those who would like to share this out with somebody, there will be a replay available. You can share it with them after this is done. Okay, let's see. No. Let's see. Sorry, I'm making sure that the slides go up. All right. Yes, so as you enter in, just say hi in the chat, folks. Let's see. There we go. All right. Wow. Yeah, I think you all can see it now. Let me know if you can see the slides along with my face in the chat. And yeah, it looks like we have folks watching in. Let me know where you're joining in from, please. And thank you. Okay. Cool. All right, we'll get started in 60 seconds. I give people a few minutes to join in. And then we're going to get started with Reclaim Your Style. All right, it's time to get started. Cool. So welcome in. Welcome to Reclaim Your Style. And in this masterclass, we're going to discuss why you don't feel like yourself in your clothes and how to fix that. All right. So as you join in, say hello in the chat. I want you to know this is going to be a very interactive session. So I'm going to ask you all to share with me as we go. And there will be a giveaway for attendees who participate live at the end. So I want you all to grab your workbook and your favorite pen because we're going to get real. Your workbook can be found inside of your email. If it's not in your inbox, please check your spam or your promotions folder. Sometimes it gets mixed up in there. Just search It's Kyla, Not Kayla in your search bar, and I'm sure it will pop up. It is digital. If you have not printed it, then I highly suggest you grab a pen and piece of paper and follow along that way. But this workbook is going to guide us through the transformation. All right. So, hi, I'm Kyla. If you don't know me already, I am a certified style coach. I've been certified by the London College of Fashion since 2020. I help brilliant women create brilliant closets. That is what I do because they ultimately lead to brilliant lives. And I got started with this work after working for over 10 years. I've been in the world of tech. So it may seem strange that I pivoted from tech to style, but the reason I did that is because while I was in tech and also with making friends with folks who were in medicine, women who were in law, women who ran their own businesses, I noticed how hard women would work to be the most qualified at what they do. But at the same time, in doing all of that, they had a really deep fear of being seen that ultimately got in the way of them being great, of them being visible, of them being profitable, of them being just happy with their own quality of life. So the reason I do this work is because for me, it's very important that women allow themselves to show up for life in a way that's authentic to themselves, in a way that reflects their personal power. So when I am not helping women and saving the world one closet at a time, I am getting a bubble tea. I love bubble tea. I am burning Palo Santo. I am spending time at local cafes or watching Real Housewives. Those are my hobbies in no particular order. I'm also very into cozy hobbies as well. So anything arts and crafts, I'm down for. Um, and, at the end of the day, what all of this work is about for me, whether it was when I was working in tech or whether I am actually working as a style coach with women, is helping people to build realities, helping people to create worlds for themselves. Because as we progress in this world, there's just so many options out there that sometimes we just stick with the first one that's given to us because it can be overwhelming. But the key is really learning how to curate a life for yourself. All right. So you probably are here because you don't feel like your favorite version of you, right? And if you're feeling that way, I want you to know you're not crazy. You're not behind. You're not broken. All of these things, all of these thoughts come to us because they are thoughts that we've been given, whether they were something that was given to us by someone we know, or maybe society gave us that thought. But for all of us, that thought has been planted in us at some point that we are incorrect. When the actual truth of the matter is, if you don't love your style, it's because you're simply missing the right framework. And that is a framework that's rooted in your identity. That's really what it is. So that's why I created Reclaim Your Style. Today, what we're going to be doing is a lot of belief shifting. This is much less about finding clothes and much more about finding why you can't find clothes, even with a closet full of clothes. Okay. Before we start with shopping, we have to start with the root. That is where your style begins. All right. So, this workshop is for you if you want to look great, but you feel stuck in what's comfortable. This workshop is for you if you love style in theory, but you don't really know how to apply it to your life. If you feel invisible in rooms where you should be feeling and showing up powerfully, If you crave a change, but you don't know where to begin, this is for you. So if that relates to you, please drop a heart in the chat. If any of these sound like you, if you've been in that place, if you're in that place right now. Oh, yes, Colette's tuning in from Atlanta. Hello, Colette. Hi. All right, it looks like we have a few other people who joined in as well. Yes, please drop a heart in the chat or let me know where you're joining in from. It makes me so excited to see folks joining in from all over. All right. So before we hop into the meat and potatoes, I want to talk about my own story. Um, I used to play small as well. I used to shop aimlessly. I remember there was a point, and this must have been in 2017, late 2017, going into 2018, where I had just finished going shopping at H&M because it was right down the street from where I worked. So, of course, I had to pop in there on the way home. And I had about 3 bags of clothes, and I did not spend more than $100 on those 3 bags of clothes, so I felt very proud of myself because I had a deal. And I got back to my apartment, happy that I had these clothes. I honestly couldn't even tell you to this day, like, what even triggered me to buy them. Like, did I actually even need them? Or was it just me trying to soothe the fact that I was really unhappy with the way that my day to day life looked, felt, the quality of life that I had? It wasn't even that I had a terrible quality of life per se, but it was much more about the fact that none of it felt like me, and none of it felt like anything I actually chose for myself. It felt like I was just showing up for life the way I was supposed to, or the way that I thought that other people externally were expecting me to. And because I wasn't actually showing up in my power as myself, I was oftentimes relying on my work to speak for me. And I was getting to the point in the place where none of it was working, nothing was quite clicking. Um, I didn't have any clarity with my style. And one day I had to ask myself, what would it take for me? What would it take for my presence to become undeniable? For Kyla, not Kayla, to show up in spaces undeniable. What would that look like? And the answer changed everything. I did a lot of trial and error myself with style, and it wasn't because I wasn't stylish. It wasn't because I was completely and totally clueless either. And if you're here, you probably aren't clueless either. What you're probably experiencing is a lack of clarity. And oftentimes, when we don't have clarity, we settle for comfort. So, what we're really focusing on today is how to get to clarity for yourself, how to get really clear about what it is you want from your style. That is what Reclaim Your Style is about. I did years of trial and error to get to that point myself, even being someone who folks would call a fashionista. So I created this masterclass to get rid of all of that trial and error for you. There's no reason why you need to fall into that, okay? It's can be very, very simple to shift your belief. All right. All right. So let's get started. I want you to pull up that workbook if you haven't already and head to the page that says shift. All right. Now, what we're going to do is shift some beliefs. We're going to get started with the top 5 beliefs that I run into with my clients. And we're going to write down these limiting beliefs as we go, okay? Now, I don't want you to feel like this is a judgment about your style. This is actually an opportunity to free your style. This isn't a judgment of yourself, of your mindset. This is taking the opportunity to get really clear about what thoughts you've been having. And the reason why this is important is because thoughts are not these permanent things, nor are thoughts oftentimes things that we came up with ourselves. A lot of times, the thoughts that we hold are things that we've learned along the way through life. And some of them have been useful, but most of them are not. So today, what we're going to do is get really clear about what thoughts you're having, what beliefs you're holding on to that are actually getting in the way of you showing up with style. Because, like I said, most of you showing up here today are not absolutely clueless and fully unaware of what you love. You're actually aware of those moments where you have glimmers. You're fully aware of those moments where something inspires you. The real issue is that between you and that thing that inspires you is a block, a mental block that's stopping you from actually going forward with the thing that you really actually desire. So that's what we're going to do today. All right. Now, if you did not get the opportunity to print your workbook, that's perfectly fine. You can write this down on a piece of paper. You're going to divide that piece of paper into 3 columns. The first column is going to have the title, the header of old belief. The second column is going to have a header of how does this belief hold me back? And the third column is going to have new truth. All right. And we're going to work through this process together. So if you're ready, give me a thumbs up, give me some hearts, and we can get started. Hey, Kalandra, we're going to get started. All right. I'm going to make it a little bigger so you guys can read this very well. All right. Cool. So our very first belief that is very common is the belief that style is vanity, not necessity. All right. So if you've ever felt yourself thinking thoughts like, including but not limited to, style is extra, it's indulgent. I'll focus on it when everything else is handled, and everything else can mean a lot of different things. All right. If you're holding this belief, what this really means is that you're pedestalizing style and saying that style is only for special people, you know? Style is for, you know, people with a perfect body. Style is for people who are rich. Style is for people who are on TV. Style is for people like people who are attention seeking. Having thoughts like this are very common because obviously we are fed this a lot, especially as women. But what I want you to do is understand the actual cost that holding on to this belief has for you. All right. Giving into the idea that style is vanity and not necessity is costing you the conditioning yourself, sorry, is leading you to condition yourself to believe that quality does not belong to you. It's conditioning yourself to believe that quality does not belong to you. You're making other people a priority in your life and then wondering why you feel invisible in your own. And I want you to know that if you're falling into that, your martyrdom that you're doing, and by martyrdom, I mean you making yourself smaller or you keeping your cup low so that you can pour into others, isn't actually serving anybody. That might feel hard to accept because the whole reason that you're putting your style on the back burner, putting your quality of life on the back burner, that you're allowing other people to be a priority is because you're trying to serve people. And that's not the way you should be looking at this. All right. And if you're feeling this way, you're not alone. All right. I'm going to share some stories of some clients I've worked with in the past. Right. I've worked with my client, Sophie, and she moved to a new company in a leadership role that she was actually pining for in her last job. So finally, she got this role at a new company, fresh start. And even with all those positive changes, she still wasn't ever feeling the feeling she was expecting. The pride, the accomplishment, the relief never quite set in, even though she had accomplished the thing. And with all this change in her life, she still felt like her old self, proving and playing small. She really needed an identity shift to prove to herself that she had arrived. Her transformation started with looking at what she already had in her closet, actually, and what she already had within herself. And then using my simple style framework to remix it and show up in her new truth. All right. Another client of mine, Gabrielle, was fresh out of college, off into the world of adulting, and how she dressed was never a priority for her, like the way her studies or her side jobs or her student organizations or getting to graduation was. And to be honest, she got to a point where she didn't really care about her outfits so much. But when it was time for her to start a new chapter in a big city, she needed to feel like she actually was as responsible and as grown as she had become. And that really started with curating her closet and allowing herself to have style in her everyday life, not just for a special occasion, not just for when she wanted to feel like somebody. It was the day to day habit of getting dressed that needed to elevate so that she could show up the way she wanted to show up for her new life. All right. And last but not least, I worked with Jaylee, who was in a job that she did not love. And she practically lived in scrubs. And when she looked in the mirror, she recognized that she was covered in the energy of her workplace. She was not feeling like herself. So when she began to apply for medical school and to reach that next level in her life, she knew that she needed to shift the energy in her wardrobe so that she could shift the energy in her life on the day to day. She was ready to revamp her wardrobe from the ground up and learn how to show up for her next chapter with authenticity. All right. So, if the belief that you're holding on to is style is vanity and not necessity, I want you to write that down in the shift page. Going back to this page here, I want you to write that down. And I want you to get really honest with yourself and write a quick note about how this belief, how holding on to this belief is holding you back. And the new truth that I want you to accept for yourself is that you are the necessity and your quality of life matters. So you dress like it. All right. Because when you don't feel powerful in your clothes, the people who count on you don't get the best of you either. And that could be your family, your partner, your children, your friends, your coworker, even your pets. They need you to show up for yourself so that you can show up for them. They need you to show up and give to them from your overflow, not deplete yourself. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's head on over to our next belief. And as we do that, too, speaking of cups, I'm going to take a little sip of water. All right. So for belief number 2, I'm not ready for style yet. This looks like thoughts like, I'll start dressing better when I lose the weight, when I get the promotion, when I have more time. And your translation of the translation here is, I'm not good enough yet. All right. So if you feel like you're not ready for style, here's what this is actually costing you on your day to day. You're waiting for perfection to begin. I want to repeat that again. You're waiting for perfection so that you can begin. I hope you caught on to how redundant that might sound, because nothing can be perfect if nothing's even begun yet, right? And especially because perfection is a moving target. This belief is keeping you in limbo and reinforcing the idea that you must earn your self expression. And instead of claiming your growth in real time, you're procrastinating on your power and staying in your comfort zone, even if it no longer fits you. It's like forcing your feet into a pair of shoes, 1 to 2 sizes too small, and then saying that you're going to run a marathon. All right. And if you feel this way, you are not alone. All right. I have my client, Natasha. Natasha lost major weight. She came to me, I believe she had lost over 60 pounds. And she still had more she wanted to lose. But her career pivot into real estate was waiting for no one. And she was determined to show up ready to win daily. So she upgraded her style with me and then had herself ready for her elevation. She didn't wait until the elevation showed up to look ready. All right. Especially being a woman who works in sales. You kidding me? If you are somebody who's holding on to the belief that you're not ready for style yet, I want you to adopt this new truth and write this down in your chart. I will show up. I show up with a style that, sorry, I show up daily with style that honors myself right now. I show up with style daily to honor myself now. I want you to know that style is not a finish line. It's not a destination. It's a part of the journey. It is a tool in your toolkit on the journey to the destination you hope to reach. All right. It is not a final outcome. Style is a form of self respect and one that you carry with you through every single phase of your journey. So, waiting until you feel ready is actually really redundant. All right. All right. Okay. And then belief number 3. If I become stylish, I won't be relatable anymore. Whew. I went on a rampage about this on my Instagram the other day. So if you're following me on Instagram at ITS, it's Kyla, not Kayla, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, obviously everywhere. I went on a rampage about this the other day because someone actually admitted this to me when I got coffee with her. Um, It is a very common thought to have, right? You're probably thinking things like, if I dress too well, I'll make other people around me uncomfortable. If I show up too polished, I won't belong anymore. But my dear, brilliant woman, you were not made to fit in. You were not made to fit in. Why are you trying to fit in? Please stop. The desire to fit in is natural, but is not correct. All right. And here's why. The cost to this belief is that when relatability becomes the goal, you shrink yourself to stay likable. Please drop a heart in the chat, drop a me in the chat if you've ever shrunk yourself to be likable. I feel like every woman can relate to this. Playing small does not inspire your community. You are here to do things, right? Whether you're doing things at work, you're doing things in your business, you're doing things and showing up in a big way for your family, you are not going to inspire anything to change, evolve, elevate if you are playing small to stay likable. If anything, you're actually conditioning other people around you to continue to settle, footloose and fancy free with whatever the status quo is when you yourself refuse to allow yourself to stand out. You're watering down your brilliance, you're sabotaging your next level, and you're delaying the visibility your expertise actually deserves, right? And if you are feeling this way, once again, you are not alone. A client of mine, Camilla, was running for public office for the first time. And in this political climate, the stakes were high. And she needed to edit her wardrobe to build that no trust factor as a leader. She went from the relatable coworker in the office to an inspiring stateswoman. All right. Along with Camilla, I worked with Jacqueline. Jacqueline is a personal trainer, and her business expanded beyond the gym, finally. But that meant she needed to show up for photo opportunities, conferences, speaking events. And the clothes that got her to the personal training success were not the same clothes that were going to get her to her next level. She wanted to show up with the same excellence that she gave her work. So we created a wardrobe for her outside of the athletic wear, right? I think it's really, really key. Maybe I should repeat it one more time. What got you to where you are now is not going to be the same thing that gets you to where you're trying to go. All right. So instead of thinking that if you become stylish, you won't be relatable anymore, the new truth I want you to adopt is my originality is my most magnetic asset. All right. I want you to write that down. And this is because your style is a catalyst. And by showing up as your fully expressed self, you do not lose connection, you lead with intention. And people are not looking for people to be relatable to connect with them. They're actually looking for the person who is the most intentional in the room. They're looking for the person who is the most inspiring in the room. And that is the person they desire to connect with most. All right, so we have 2 more beliefs to go. And I hope I'm not shaking the table too much, but if I am, you're in the right place. Okay. And after we get through these beliefs, we're going to talk about how to really embody this in the day to day. Okay. All right. So, belief number 4. Woo, belief number 4. My women, especially my women of color, and especially my women who grew up in a very different financial space than you're living in right now. That tends to be the women who hold on to this the most. Belief number 4 is I should be able to figure this out on my own. This one kind of makes me emotional. But some of the thoughts that people tend to hold on to when they think this way are if I were truly confident, if I were truly grown, if I were truly feminine, I'd already know how to dress for myself. And the reason this makes me emotional is because this is not your thought. This is not your thought at all. This is 100% an inherited thought. And society teaches a false belief that style should just come naturally, especially for a woman. And if you don't have it, then you're less than some way, somehow. And that is not true. Some of the most brilliant women I know don't have the time to figure this out on their own. Some of the most impactful women I know, some of the most confident women I know, don't have the bandwidth for figuring out this whole style thing on their own. All right. And because they're holding on to the thought that they should be able to do this on their own, they are actually self-sabotaging their success by not allowing themselves to simply get the help and let it be done. All right. What this belief is costing you is a trap. It's actually trapping you in a loop of shame, second guessing, and silent suffering. All right. You're not lacking in effort, you're lacking in strategy. And strategy is not just naturally going to come to you simply because you have an XX chromosome. Okay. The DIY approach is costing you your time, your energy, and your self worth one outfit at a time. So I want to break these shackles today. All right. And if you find yourself here, you're not alone. My client Ashley thought that being stylish meant she had to do the most. And so she saved feeling good in her clothes for special occasions. After learning that after learning the simple style frameworks that we're going to talk about today, she learned that her style could be really simple, actually. And looking great on a day-to-day basis can actually come with so much ease. And I think anybody who's holding on to this thought is actually struggling with the concept of ease. Ease and easy are not the same thing, right? And we oftentimes associate ease with laziness or being less than because we're thinking that, oh, we're trying to take the easy way out. Taking the easy way out and allowing there to be ease in your life are not the same thing. When I say looking great day to day comes with ease, that's because you have systems, structure, and strategy, not because you're lazy. but because you're actually really smart and you have better things to do than to be fussing every single day about your clothes. All right. Last but not least, shopping was a challenge for Alexandra, especially when it came to finding pieces that worked for her body from brands that she felt good about. So, leveling up her wardrobe for the success to be the successful businesswoman, spirit guide, wife, and mom she had already become felt like a feat. It felt like an uphill battle. She already had so many things on her plates, and she desired more. She desired more without taking on more. And working with me made this possible for her. Instead of never ending choices, instead of being lost in the millions and millions of possibilities that are available to us with online shopping or going to the mall, she decided to work with me so she'd have a direct game plan for her style made just for her instead of being lost in a sea of options. All right. So if you're somebody who's been telling yourself, I should be able to figure this out on my own, I want you to shift that belief into a new truth. Style is a learnable skill. And I'm a smart woman who invests in skills to elevate my life. You do not need to hustle harder. You need a system that works for you. All right. Oh, that's good. Kalandra, it is good. I'm glad that these are hitting. I'm glad that these are resonating for all of you. Okay. And again, the reason that I'm bringing these beliefs to you, all of these shifts that it's time to make to you is because these are common. Okay. You are not alone if you've ever found yourself having these thoughts. But these are the thoughts that are stopping you from being stylish, I promise you. It is not because you're clueless about style. It is because between you and where you want to be, there is a big fat mental block that we need to eradicate. Okay. So our last belief for today. Oh, this one also makes me kind of emotional because this was me very recently. Um, so I feel this one deeply. The last belief is I lost my spark and I don't know how to get it back. Right? Whew, this thought looks like I've changed. Something is missing and I don't know myself anymore. And what this really means is that you've been giving so much to everyone else that there is nothing left for you. Whew, okay, I'm not gonna cry on this in this in this masterclass. All right. What this is costing you, what holding on to this belief is costing you is your self-trust and your power, right? Your self-trust is slipping away, your power is dimming, and before you know it, you're shrinking to feel safe and you're hiding instead of thriving. If this is your belief, please put this down in your chart. Please write this down under old belief. All right. One thing I want you to know is that your spark did not disappear. It just got buried underneath survival mode. All right. And if you are here on this call right now, it is because your body, your soul, your heart, your womb are all ready to get out of survival mode. Okay. It's just that we just need to get your mind in on it too. Okay. And if you're feeling this way, I promise you, you're not alone. My client Megan was living in her past prayer. It was living in her past prayers. All right. She had a coveted job title, workplace recognition, a lovely partner, close friends, and big city living. And even with all this goodness, she still lacked an evident, intentional style. She wanted to live a life that had her mark on it. All right. Less generic and more Megan. So when we worked together, we got really clear about what is Megan. and how to put it together with ease so she could shine. All right. And one of my clients, Ruth, reached a new pinnacle. She was a doctor with her own private practice, a beautiful family, respect in her community. And the only thing that was missing was reconnecting with herself as this new Ruth. She decided to reclaim her power over how she was showing up in her life. And we worked together to develop a personal style to embody her new chapter while honoring who she is at her core. All right. And aligning her style to that. So if you are somebody who's lost their spark and you feel like you don't know how to get it back, I want you to reframe this moment as I know what I'm made for. So I dress to thrive in my power daily. And this has been my new truth that I've been living with lately, because even a style coach needs to learn how to reclaim her style. Every once in a blue moon, it shows up for me too. I'm reclaiming my spark, my voice, and my style, right? And why I want you to be really clear about the fact that you know what you're made for is because you wouldn't be aware that you lost your spark. You wouldn't be aware that there's something you're trying to get back to if you didn't know that you were made for more. So I want that to be your new truth today. Okay. I want that to be your new truth today. And those are our top 5 beliefs. All right. And before we move to this next activity, because that was pretty heavy, I want you all to share in the chat, right? Share in the chat what you identified about yourself with these beliefs. What spoke to you in these beliefs? What hit for you with these beliefs, right? And as you do that, I really want you to do that also because it's giveaway time. Okay. Let's lighten up the air a little bit. I'm giving away a free style foundation session to someone who's attended live today and participated in the chat. So if you have not already, please do. Okay. I'm going to be selecting someone at random from the folks who have joined in the chat today. And along with those 5 beliefs, I wanted to just share 2 more bonus beliefs as you all share your thoughts in the chat. Times are too hard to focus on my style. That's been one that I've been seeing a lot lately. I don't want to gloss over the fact that things are weird. things are strange right now. Things are really strange right now. And that's why you should be focused on your style even more. All right? Because you were made for such a time as this. You were made to be impactful. You were made to shine. You were made to continue to be a light. All right? Be that city on a hill. You were made for this moment. Okay? And I'll be damned if we are allowing this moment where they want you to play small and they want you to be small and they want you to diminish yourself, for you to actually just give into that. When things get crazy and things get chaotic, all right, that is even more of a reason to lean into the clarity of who you are and show up in that every single day. The other honorable mention thought is I cannot show up authentically with my style for my work or my life. All right. If you're feeling like whatever job you have right now or whatever's going on in your life right now doesn't actually align with your authentic style, then I want to challenge you to get clear about your why. Okay. In the work that you're doing, this does not mean you need to be walking away from the work that you do. It means you need to get clear about your why with the work that you do. Because there's no reason why you can't show up authentically in style. Even if you show up to work in pantsuits every single day, you can still show up with authenticity in your style. You can still show up with color, pattern, texture. You can still show up with an energy that really says I'm here. All right. Okay, it's giveaway time. Let us pick. Okay, I'm using a random selector from online. And let's pick somebody. It's going to be from the chat tab. Colette. Hey, girl. Colette. Yes, Colette, you have won a complimentary style foundation session. So I have your email here. I have your information here. I'm going to send you an email so that you can schedule that out. And for everyone who has joined in, and you might be a little sad that you didn't win this giveaway, there are future giveaways. So hold on. Hi, Heather. Welcome in. Welcome in. We are getting ready to do the second activity in our workbook. All right. So if you flip over to the page called script, I want you to fill this out. I might be aging myself a little bit here, but if anybody remembers Mad Libs, they used to be these little books, little activity books. You would see them in like the grocery, like next to the gum and stuff in the magazines. And you would fill in the blank and create a story. So that is what I want you all to do today, right? So that this script with the fill in the blanks is available in the workbook. But if you don't have the workbook printed out, you can write this down on a piece of paper. But I want you to fill in the blanks with this script. And this script is going to be your style vision. Now that we've gone through the top 5 beliefs and a couple honorable mentions and shifted those beliefs into new truths for yourself, I want you to create your style vision based off of those new truths. Okay. So here's how you're going to fill this out. It's a blank morning. So you're going to pick a day of the week, or maybe a holiday, or maybe it's your birthday morning, or maybe it's a vacation morning, or maybe it's whatever kind of morning that brings you joy, right? And I'm getting dressed for or getting dressed to insert any situation, right? I'm wearing a blank outfit, and that blank should be a vibe or maybe like describe some key pieces that make me feel blank. What type of emotion, experience do you want to feel? My reflection says I'm a woman who is blank. And here I want you to put in a word that describes a quality or a characteristic or a superpower of the woman that you're becoming. And I walk into the day knowing I'm showing up as blank. What is your identity? What is the identity of the woman with these new truths? I feel good because I'm not hiding. I'm expressing. I don't dread getting dressed anymore because I know who I am. I've curated a closet that supports me as a blank. And in that blank, you're going to fill out a goal or whatever lifestyle, who it is you're being. Okay. That's the script. All right. Now, in the rest of this workbook, there are more pages, like the visualize page, many more pages, and you can fill that out as you go. You can fill that out later on, get a little quiet, take a moment with a cup of tea, and just really get clear on your vision. This is also something that, I've done for myself and I like to revisit every once in a while. Especially like I said, now, even myself now, I'm going through my own version of a transition. But these These activities, the whole point in them, the importance of them is that they are opportunities to clarify your desires, right? As women, we tend to have a lot of desires, okay? And that's perfectly normal and natural. But if we don't have any sort of structure or system around those desires, they just become cool ideas that kind of flop and go nowhere, right? And I want you to know that if you feel like that's been you, the real problem isn't you, it's your lack of framework. So I told you we would get into the framework today. Here it is. 4 steps. The first step is identifying your true style based on your personal power. The second step is aligning your closet to your style vision, your body, your energy. The third step is curating a wardrobe with clarity using my brilliant closet framework. And the fourth step is embodying it daily with ease and normalizing your new style identity, right? These shifts aren't something that we're trying out today or this week, or, it's cool for a Sunday night when you're not so busy. These are shifts that you need to learn how to embody with an action-based framework. Each of these steps that I shared with you here today move you from hiding in your clothes to using them as proof of who you are, right? Each of these steps moves you from I'm not ready for style to I fully show up as myself. From I've lost my spark to I know exactly what to wear. From I save style as a luxury for later to my wardrobe reflects where I'm going. From I can figure it out on my own to I won't be doing this alone. From I'm holding on to being relatable to I'm showing up for an inspired life. And if you want to take action on this today, I want to share with you all, she looks like she means it. This is my 4-week experience to build your style from the inside out. If this masterclass resonated with you here today, I want you to know that you're ready. You're ready to stop winging it and you're ready to start building your signature style. She looks like she means it is your next step. We get started on Monday, June 30th. All right. I'm going to share the link with you all in the chat. Here you go. Thank you, Kalandra. Here you go. It is in the chat. All right. Go ahead and click that link to learn more about but let's learn more about She Looks Like She Means It. Right? Enrollment is now open, fully open. It is available for $197. We are going to be doing weekly live trainings with hot seat coaching. So group calls with me leading you all through. We're going to have a printable workbook. And for those who join in for the live sessions, you'll actually have this workbook mailed to you with a special letter from me. And this workbook is going to guide you through the process. All right. You'll have lifetime access to the content and the replays. We're also going to have a private group. I like to call it the group chat for questions, check-ins, and those outfit of the day moments. All right. And you'll have a bonus, the access to my Transform Your Style course, which is live on my website. You'll have that complimentary with your enrollment. And if you enroll within the next 24 hours, this closes Monday night, all right? If you use the code RECLAIM in the checkout link that I posted in the chat, you can enroll for $150 instead of the original $197 for 24 hours, okay? You've spent long enough shrinking, second guessing, and playing it safe. It's time to build a wardrobe that finally reflects the woman you've become and the one you're still becoming. Okay? Your closet should not be your biggest op. All right? Your closet should be the tool that's helping you get to where you're going. It should not be the thing that's holding you back. Getting dressed is the one habit that you have to do every single day. It is the one opportunity you have on a daily basis to show up for your life intentionally. Please do not allow limiting beliefs to convince you that your style isn't very important or it's something that can wait. That is self-sabotage. All right. So, along with this 4-week guided journey where we'll meet on a weekly basis, you're going to have my full framework. You're going to have Kyla right at your fingertips. And you are going to have the personalized resources along with lifetime access for $150 in the next 24 hours. And then that price goes up to $197 on Tuesday. Okay. And it's kind of a deal, and it's kind of a steal, because normally when I'm working with folks in my style foundation, that is 90 minutes with me at $497. All right. So you're going to have the opportunity to work with me in a group of like-minded women for $197. All right. And I will be giving away 2 more style foundation sessions to those who register. There will be 2 more giveaways at random to those who register. But like I mentioned, Colette, I will be sending you an email so we can get you scheduled away. All right. So now I'm going to just open up the chat to any questions, any thoughts. Yes, you won. It is your winning season. I love it. Yes. No, you're back. You're back. Yes, you are in. And for the rest of the folks who are here, like I mentioned, there are more opportunities to win once you get inside of the room. Please, please, please use this link to sign up and use the code RECLAIM in the next 24 hours. I hope that this is clear. It looks like I might have froze a little bit. Am I back? I hope I'm back. I might have, yeah, I might have frozen, but I think you guys can still hear me. So I'll just turn off my camera. It's not about my face. It's about this moment. But yes, we have about 3 minutes left. I'll open that up to questions. But once again, I want to go back to the workbook. The additional pages in the workbook, you can fill them out in your own time, but we're also going to be revisiting this workbook in our very first session, the first weekly session, and we're going to actually talk about it and get deep about it. Right in that first session, we're going to do the identity work and really get super, super crystal clear about like, what is your style vision? What do you want your style identity to be? And we are going to base it off of your personal power with my style archetype system that I have. And I'm going to show you how to align your closet to your power. This is kind of where we get into the woo-woo part of style. Of course, I got to get woo-woo. And then in week number 2 is when we're going to do the align step. And this is where we're going to get more scientific because, as you all know, I am a tech nerd. I do like the methodology. My Virgo moon enjoys getting into the nitty-gritty details of what is best for you. This is where we unpack the actual science of style. And then, like I mentioned, in week 3, we'll get into the Brilliant Closet framework, where I actually teach you how to curate a closet. This does not require you to buy anything that week. Now, if going shopping makes sense for you at this time, then this is perfect. But if shopping is not something you're trying to do, it is not a necessity for this. You can actually curate your closet based off of what you have right now. All right. And we're going to use the Brilliant Closet framework to do that. You might just walk away from this, like many of my clients have, feeling like you have a whole new closet when you actually didn't buy a thing. And in week 4, we're going to talk about embodying, normalizing, ease, what this new identity means for you and how to show up for it. Because contrary to popular belief, style is actually a facet of pretty privilege. All right. And if you haven't heard of pretty privilege before, that is the idea that looking good has its privileges. I'm sure that's not like rocket science or groundbreaking for anybody, but when you do choose to step into a new identity like that, there are going to be changes and things that you're going to need to normalize and moments that are kind of uncomfy. So, along with teaching you how to look like you mean it, and she looks like she means it, I'm also going to be walking through these shifts and changes with you as a coach, not just a stylist. Okay. And coaching you through the hard life moments and the uncomfortable moments and the great moments and how to maintain these moments. All right. That's what we're going to be doing for 4 weeks together starting June 30th. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing. We've reached 8 o'clock. And I just want to thank everyone for joining here today. Okay. If you, let's see if my camera wants to work right now. Maybe not. That's okay. If you are interested in joining in and you have any questions, you can find me. Like I said, send me a DM on Instagram at ITS. It's Kyla, not Kayla. All right. And I'm going to throw the link to She Looks Like She Means It inside of the description for this masterclass. I'm also going to be sending the link to you and the replay to you to your email. So you'll have that first thing tomorrow morning. All right. And you'll also find it in my link in bio everywhere as long as enrollment is open. All right. Thank you so much for being here. And if you are somebody who is catching this replay months and months from now, I want you to know that you can also enroll in other masterclasses as well later on at that time. Just make sure that you're following me and you'll be aware of what's going on. But for folks who are here and now, you have 24 hours to use the code RECLAIM to get into side of She Looks Like She Means It for $150. All right. Have a beautiful night and a lovely week. And I look forward to seeing you all inside of She Looks Like She Means It. Bye.